This base doesn't hide behind walls. It hides behind emptiness. No cities, no roads, no landmarks. And that was the point. Because what makes Area 51 powerful isn't what's inside the buildings, it's how the buildings are placed so you never get close enough to see them. This is Structory, where buildings aren't just buildings, they're decisions, warnings, and weapons. Today, we're looking at Area 51. Not the aliens, not the myths, but the architecture of secrecy, and why the most famous military base in the world was designed to almost disappear. To the public, Area 51 is a rumor, a desert base linked to UFOs, secret aircraft, and conspiracies. Most people imagine massive hangars, hidden bunkers, or underground cities. But in reality, Area 51 looks ordinary. Low buildings, simple hangars, flat roofs. And that's where most explanations stop. But secrecy at this scale is never accidental. Area 51 wasn't built to hide aliens, it was built to hide speed. In the early Cold War, the United States faced a problem. The Soviet Union was developing nuclear weapons, and America couldn't see what was happening behind the Iron Curtain. Satellites didn't exist yet, spies were unreliable, so the US needed aircraft that could fly higher than any missile, radar, or fighter jet. But here was the real challenge. How do you test revolutionary aircraft without letting anyone know they exist? The answer wasn't just secrecy, it was architectural isolation. Area 51 sits next to Groom Lake, a dry lake bed in Nevada. That location solved multiple problems at once. The flat lake bed became a natural runway, miles long, perfectly straight, and invisible from ground level. The surrounding mountains blocked radar signals, the desert absorbed sound, and the sheer emptiness created a psychological barrier. No fences were needed at first. Distance itself was the security system. Even the buildings followed a rule: never stand out. No tall structures, no unique shapes, no architectural signatures. Everything was built low, wide, and forgettable, because attention is a vulnerability. Ironically, the most important architecture at Area 51 isn't the buildings, it's the runways. They're longer than commercial airport runways, built to handle aircraft that didn't officially exist. The U-2, the A-12, the SR-31 Blackbird. Each plane demanded changes in runway length, hangar size, fuel systems, and spacing. Area 51 had to evolve constantly, but always quietly. Temporary buildings were preferred over permanent ones, modular hangars over monumental architecture, because permanence leaves evidence, temporary structures leave questions. This architecture created a culture of total compartmentalization. Pilots flew in blind, sometimes unaware of the full mission. Workers were flown in on unmarked planes, worked inside windowless buildings, then flown out the same day. Even the architecture inside enforced secrecy, limited sightlines, segmented spaces, restricted movement. You didn't just work at Area 51, you experienced isolation by design. And that isolation came at a cost: psychological stress, lifelong non-disclosure, and a base that became more myth than reality. Area 51 forced the world to respond. When the Soviet Union detected high-altitude flights, they accelerated missile development. When stealth aircraft emerged, other nations began building their own secret facilities, deep underground, inside mountains, or across remote deserts. Area 51 didn't just test aircraft, it reshaped how military architecture works globally. Secrecy became spatial, distance became defense, and architecture became a weapon of misinformation. Today, satellites can see everything, drones can fly anywhere, digital surveillance is constant, yet Area 51 still exists, because secrecy hasn't disappeared, it's just moved. Modern military architecture now hides data, not just aircraft, and Area 51 became the blueprint for a new idea, that sometimes the most powerful structure is the one you never fully understand. Area 51 proves something uncomfortable. Power doesn't always announce itself. It often hides behind ordinary buildings in extraordinary places. Because architecture doesn't just reflect power, it predicts how that power plans to survive. This is Structory.